SAP security and GRC. So in this entire career, I worked for the different customers like manufacturing and insurance and banking sectors as well. So in my career, so I have involved in the various kinds of securities like R3 and BA, CRM and SRM, all those areas I have implemented and successfully done the various rollouts as well. So this is the security wise. And coming to the GRC compliance tool side, so compliance tools mainly I worked on the GRC tool. So I worked in the different versions like a 5.2, 5.3 and 10 as well. 5.3 and 10, all these two versions. So I have implemented and involved in the various rollout as well. So all these activities I have done from the technical perspective. Okay, this is a brief idea about myself. Now, coming back to the course side, let me open a fresh page. So today here we met to discuss about the GRC part, why we are going to use in this GRC, what exactly the major benefit which we are getting from the GRC, all those things we are trying to discuss over here. See, so nowadays, so most of the customers, they are planning to implement the compliance tools. In the compliance tools, right, most prominent tool is the GRC. Well, because this is obviously, this is the SAP's tool right now. So that's the reason everybody wanted to go to the GRC. And what exactly the benefit which we are getting from this by implementing this GRC tool? It's pretty simple. To identifying the risk, we are going to using this GRC tool. Okay, what exactly the risk it is? So what we are going to identifying it is. So risk can be the anything. Okay, so in general terms, okay, if a person who is having any kind of a critical access or excessive access compared to his job roles. Excessive access and critical access, all those things if he is having compared to job roles, that will lead to a risk. So in this case, if a user is having that kind of excessive access is a problem. Okay, so and here if the two persons are there, just a simple example, two different persons are there and one person does not have much idea about this what exactly he is doing and everything. So the one person is from the finance section, okay, finance division, and as a security consultant we have provided the maximum access to the particular person. So that guy's desired action is to perform all the finance relevant actions only, T codes only, but he is having the additional basis relevant T codes and all those things also. So he has one fine day, he has tried to log on to the system and he has logged in and he has done his finance work. Afterwards he is having access right and he has started searching for something else and he has executed some of the basis transaction codes. So and unintendedly he has did some deletions. So because of that deletion, your customer is going to lose all his critical data. In this case, there is no problem with him. So unintendedly he has done some changes. Those changes are causing effect to remove all our critical data. So why this situation has happened? Because of the excessive access compared to his job role. His job role is to perform the finance, account payable clerk. But now he is having a wide range of access. He has done all those things, violations and everything. And now case 2. So there is another person is there, basis consultant is there. In a production, he is having a wide range of access. There is no restriction in production, we are simply given the all SAP underscore or and SAP underscore new provide access to that particular guy. And he has been there in production. He know if he done something, what will be the consequences, even though intendedly he has performed some client deletion activity in productions. There is some other client has been created to perform some kind of additional work and everything. So he has intentionally deleted some client. So ultimately you are going to losing all your customer data, and you have deleted something and has been immediately left the organization. Gone. All your production system is gone. Later on, whatever action, your course of action you are going to take and everything, that is the secondary. But immediately you are losing all the data and everything. So your business will just like this will stop over there only. Okay. So ultimately, customer is going to suffering. In both these cases, first person unintendedly done all these changes, and second person intensively done some changes. So both these cases, the main reason is excessive access. Okay, so main reason is the excessive. So because of this reason only, they are going and they are trying to perform something, and that is leading to the risk. Okay, so that is causing a risk. So this is the technical term. In layman terms, we can say risk can be the fraud or physical theft or damaging to the existing infrastructure or anything we can call it as a risk. But in the SAP perspective, so wherever who is having the critical access or excessive access, that is causing a risk. So how do we identify this risk? By using this GRC tool. How do we identify? By using this GRC? Yes. So by running the risk analysis, against to users or roles, we are going to get to know where exactly the risk is there. That means if I am taking one user ID called Samir, so Samir is having all the access in the production system, and we are not sure whether this guy is having the risks are included in his user profile or not. So how do we know? We have to run the risk analysis against the Samir user ID. Then system will give the risk analysis report. In that report, we are going to identify what kind of risks are there, like critical or medium or low or high. So what type of risks are there? So based upon that, we are going to taking the action. And how system is going to giving this report to us? What exactly the major thing involved here? How system will know? GRC system will know. GRC, I told you, GRC is a tool, right? How GRC is going to know all those stuff? Yes, but on what condition GRC system is going to classifying and identifying as a risk? So the main reason is based upon the SOD rules. Based upon the SOD rules, system is going to identify. SOD rules are nothing but a segregation of the duties. So if you are an account payable clerk, and as per your job responsibility, you are supposed to get the particular transaction codes only. If you are a warehouse manager, as per your job position, you are supposed to get the relevant transaction codes to you. So that T codes and everything, that kind of information, all those things will be mentioned, will be maintained under SOD rules, segregation of the duties. Okay, based upon the SOD rules only, GRC is going to giving the risk analysis report to us. So then here we may get a one doubt. How SAP has prepared these SOD rules? Is there any history is there? Yes. By using the SOX compliances. By using the SOX compliances, SAP has prepared these rules. What exactly these SOX compliances? So SOX compliances are mainly delivered for the country US. So here Sarbanes and Oxley, there are two different persons. Sarbanes and Oxley, there are two different persons has defined the governance rules. They defined some guidelines who are implemented, who are taking the public money, So those guys, public money means who are gone for the public issue, okay, public issue in the share market and everything. So there, if they sell the shares to the any other public, that means any other public money has invested in any of the company, those guys has to follow this compliance rules. Okay, those guys has to undergo these SOX policies. So in the year 1998 something else, so at that period, so US government has introduced these SOX policies. In US they are having the 404 Act as well. Different acts as they have released and all those things. So these acts are letting us know, so where exactly, if you are a clerk, what kind of activities you should have, and all those guidelines they have prepared for avoiding the fraud, for avoiding the physical theft of any of the items, all those such kind of risk-related avoiding risk, they have prepared these guidelines. Based upon these guidelines, so SAP has prepared their own SOD rules. So okay, SOX is mainly delivered for the US country. So in the world there are other different countries as well. Are those countries are also following any kind of these compliance rules? That means yes. If you take India, so in India we are following class 49. Okay, so this is the class 49 as delivered. If it is a German, so if it is Germany, so the country Germans are basically following the DPLs, data protection laws. If there is Japan, those guys are following the JSOX. Like this, each country is following all the different policies and everything. By consolidating all these policies and everything, SAP is preparing their own SOD rules. So these SOD rules are helping for us to letting know the risk. Who is having the critical access, who is having the excessive access as per job profile, all those things we are get to know by using these SOD rules. So by using this risk analysis report, we are get to know this one. So how these rules are defined over here? It's pretty simple. So for example, if you are into the finance section, if you are into finance team, okay, as a finance team, we have our procurement team has procured the one item. Procurement team, I'm just giving the business example. Our procurement team has procured the one item. So for that item, we have to pay to our third-party vendor, right? So at that time, the information has been passed on to the finance team. So here, account payable clerk has created the invoice. Afterwards, once the invoices gets created, then credit control owner is going to checking that invoice, validating the invoice. Next, once he has validated and he is approved, then account payable processor release the cash. So in this workflow, to perform each and every activity, we need to depend upon the different transaction codes. For example, here he is using the transaction code called 1, and here is for validating he is using the T code called 2. Here he is using the T code called 3. Like this, 3 different T codes are involved over here, transaction codes. So now in this case, if a one person who is having access to create the invoice, that means T code 1, and the same person, he is having the access to validating the invoice, that is nothing but a T code 2. Who is having access to T code 1 and T code 2? Remember, T code 1 and T code 2. So one person is having both these T codes. It's a violation. That means risk. Why a violation? Why? Because, simple example, so here Samir is the person, he is working as a clerk. He is having the access to create invoice. So the original requirement to create invoice is the $1,000. Okay, the requirement is to create invoices for $1,000. But as Samir has created so invoice for the $10,000, simply he has increased the 10 from right hand side. That's it. It's become a $10,000. Okay, and after raising this invoice, and he is the person, he is going to validate it. So simply he has gone there and he has validated the invoice, $10,000 invoice he has validated, he has approved. Immediately the information will pass on to the processor, and processor will go and will release the cash based upon the approval from the credit control owner. So in this case, so where is the $9,000? The $9,000 will go on to the third party person, third party vendor. So Samir and third party vendors are both are the they are friends and they are sharing the money. Like this in a month, so if he is raising 100 plus invoices, so in a 6 months the company gone for the bankruptcy. In 6 months or 1 year, gone. Because if it is a small company, immediately they can go for the bankruptcy. Or else if it is a huge organization, they might take some time. So this is the chances. That's the reason SAP has clearly dedicated. If you are a clerk, you should have certain access creating invoice. And if you are a current validation approver, then you should have some relevant validation only. In this case, if the person who is having access to create invoice, that person should never have access to validating. So same example, who is having access to create something, that person should never have access to modify the same object. Getting right? So if somebody is having access to creating some invoice or some purchase order, some material master order or anything, those persons will never have access to modify those things. So this is what happening over here. If the one person is having both T code 1 and T code 2, automatically violation is appearing, risk. So this risk, GRC, whenever we ran the risk analysis against one user ID, that system will let us know. So if the T code 1 and T code 2 comes together, this risk is appearing. This is the case. So this risk we can go and we have to. So next step, once we identified the risk, so here there are two different concepts are there, remediation and mitigation. Remediation nothing but so removing the risk. So okay, once we identified the risk, so the T code 1 and T code 2 comes together, risk is appearing. Then business is taking call. Okay, so for Samir user ID, no need to provide the T code 2. Then we will go and we will try to remove the role, which role is trying to provide in the T code 2 access to Samir user ID. If I try to remove the T code 2, then system will not show any risk because he is having only creation access. He do not have any modification or validation access. That system will not show. That is nothing but a risk remediation. Mitigation in the sense, so T code 1 and T code 2 comes together, it is showing as risk. So in some cases, in some business, in some projects, the person who is creating invoice, same person need to validate the invoice as well. Maybe as per their business process, so same person has to handle all the activities. In that case, as per SAP, it's a violation, but as per the business, it's not a violation. So they are okay to give this one. So then how can we allow that risk? So for allowing the risk, we need to depend upon the mitigation controls. So by creating the mitigation control ID, we can go and we can able to allow the risk. So how can we create a mitigation control? How can we allowing the risk? All those in the technical part we can see in the further sessions. So this is the what basically GRC and how exactly we are going to use this one, all those things. So in GRC 10 suite, In GRC 10 suite, we are having the different in GRC 10 suite, we are having the different subcomponents are there. Those are access control, process control, risk management, GTS, Global Trade Systems, NFE. So five different components are there in GRC 10 control suite. So we are mainly concentrating on the GRC access control. So why? Because GRC access control is a tool which was mainly delivered for us for security purpose. And there are other tools also there, process control and risk management, GTS and NFE. These tools are having the different business usage and everything. Process control is mainly delivered to streamline all your financial process. Risk management is mainly delivered to managing all organizational specific risks. Okay, and access control is also for managing the risks, but access control is mainly delivered to control and to restricting the data level restrictions and data level leverages. But risk management is mainly for the organizational perspective. Maybe for example, if your customer is a manufacturing customer, if you are going to the factory plant, there you need to wear some security jackets, security cap. Okay, so like this, the security measurements, all those things can come in risk management. Okay, so if you are trying to enter into the organization without having proper valid identity card, that is also a risk to the organization. That kind of risks and all those things will be managed by the risk management team. And GTS means Global Trade Systems. So if you are trying to start a business in the other countries as well, there you need to know the local trade rules and trade laws and all those things, right? So by using this GTS, we can able to manage and we can able to adjust our pricing and all those things through GTS. NFE is mainly delivered for the Brazil country, to send the invoice details to the government authorities. NFE model is mainly for Brazil country, not any other country. Okay, so these are the 5 different components are there in the GRC 10 suite. So as per our course, we are going to spending time on GRC suite. Okay, so GRC access control. In GRC access control, we are having the 4 different components. Those are access risk analysis, ARA, access request management, ARM, emergency access management, business role management, BRM. So these are the 4 different subcomponents are there under access control component. Okay, so here we are going to discussing in detail concept about all these 4 components: ARA, ARM, EAM, BRM. All the 4 components will go and we will try to discuss over here. So next here, as per our course, so first component is the ARA for identifying the risk. Then we can go and we can able to remediate and mitigate. This is a major activities which we are going to perform in the ARA. And if you come to the ARM, here we are trying to automating the all user administration activities like creation, modification, all those things. And EA means for providing the emergency access to the users. BRM means business role management. So here by using this component, we are going to automating the all role administration activities. So these are the 4 different components and 4 different usages are being delivered by the SAP. So as per our course, we are going to discussing in detail about these concepts, like starting from the scratch. So installing GRC and everything will be taken care by the basis consultants. Once basis consultant has done their work, then rest of the configuration activities. If you wanted to implement GRC in any of the projects, what sort of the things you need to take care, like configuration, right? Post config steps, starting from the post config and configurations, and component specific configurations, all the component specific configurations. And in support mode, if you are what kind of things you need to take care, all those things, support activities. Along with that, if any troubleshooting issues, how can we check the log and all those things, how can we do the background activities, background job management, all those things we'll go and we'll discuss in detail in our course. So this is a brief idea about this course and everything. I hope already Sriram will help you to share the relevant things and all those things. Okay, so this is a brief idea about this GRC course. So this course basically this timeline will be so 15 to 20 hours max to max it will cover. So in GRC 10 we are mainly restricting on the access control part. Okay, this is a brief idea about this course and everything. So now it's your turn. So if you guys are having any queries, you can feel free to ask me.